who gave you your toughest amateur fight?
I'm gonna salute Tip Bayless. I recognize that name from my podcast. My toughest amateur fight. All right, so here's a true story about Demetrius Andrade. We're at the Junior Olympics. This is the quarterfinals. I knock out my guy in the quarterfinals. By the way, I knocked out everybody in the state, region, and national. So
Little Mike Tyson was knocking everybody.
that was literally like 12 knockouts in a row, give or take. Right? So I knocked my guy out, and I happened to be watching his fight against his fighter, and I didn't know exactly who Boo Boo was at that point in time. And I'm watching the fight. I'm like, I ain't gonna front. Like I hope black dude don't win because that's gonna be hard. They raised the Mexican's hand, and I was like yes, you know.
You was happy.
I knocked that dude out.
Mhm.
Damn near retired him, unfortunately. And then go on and win that tournament because I knocked him out. He couldn't stay and fight in that next tournament that we were going to do, that international that I mentioned earlier. And then the guy that I fought, I knocked him out, so he wasn't allowed to stay down and compete either, which bumped Boo Boo up to staying and competing in that international tournament. And it was that fight played exactly how I knew it was gonna play. He just counterpunch, southpaw, awkward, ugly, and at the end of the fight, I already knew I lost. Is what it was. You fast forward 2 years later, now he's going on into the men's division, and he just making noise. I'm at home because I didn't make it out of my state at my
Yeah.
first year in the men's, and I'm hearing about Boo Boo like doing big things, right? We fight each other in the under 19, the championships of the under 19 championships. And between us fighting when we were 16 and then us fighting again when we are 18, he goes on and wins the Golden Gloves, USA Championships, POW. He's winning everything, only lost one time. That dude happens to be at the national tournament that we're at. I said, hey man, how did you beat Demetrius Andre? How'd you beat Boo Boo? He said, man, you gotta counterpunch him, man. You can't let him counterpunch you. He said, you gotta force him to punch first. If you force him to punch first and you counterpunch him, you gonna beat him. I said, that's how you beat him? He said, yeah, man, that's how I did it. 4 2-minute rounds is what we was doing back in the day. For
Yeah.
4 2-minute rounds, I got my dad saying, go after him, Shawn. What are you doing, Shawn? You gonna lose, Shawn. What are you doing, Shawn? In between each round, what are you doing? You got to go after him. Double jab right hand, go to the body, stay on him, pressure him, pressure him. And after each round, the points is close. I'm up around by 1 point. He's up one round by 1 point. The points were super, super close. My dad, like, you going to lose this fight. Why are you fighting like this? You going to lose this fight. I didn't tell my dad that I talked to Brad Solomon. I don't know if you know that name, but I
Yeah. No,
talked to
no, no.
Brad Solomon, and Brad said this is how you beat him. So for 4 2-minute rounds, I did what Brad told me to do. I ended up beating Demetrius by like 1 point or 2 points. This was the semifinals of that tournament. Same
That's
night,
what's
my
up.
dad comes up to me and he says, hey man, why were you fighting like that? I said, I talked to Brad. Brad told me to counterpunch him, and that's how I was going to win the fight. My dad said, so you talked to Brad? I said, yeah. My dad said, and he told you to counterpunch Boo Boo. I said, yeah. He said, so you gonna listen to Brad instead of listening to me? I said, Dad, I did what I felt like I needed to do, and we won. He said, all right. He said, listen, you can't fight like that tomorrow night, or you're not gonna. Yeah. I did what I had to do, Dad. He said, you got that one out your system? I said, yes, sir. And we went on to win that
Yeah,
tournament.
you sound